God,
Right.
I love those production values.
So,
One day.
when I get time, I'll do more.
No, so you got
Look
enough
at
on
my
your
elbow.
plate.
I somehow my elbow.
Oh,
Have you ever gotten?
yes,
I don't know. You have. I don't know what I
yes,
did.
yes. I just had that.
So what do you have to
Yes.
do? You got to go to the doctor and have them drain it?
No. Yeah, you do. If it lasts for more than a month, yeah, you got to get it drained. It's just fluid buildup.
Will it go away on its own?
Yeah, it'll go away on its own. Mine went away on its own. It took a couple weeks though.
Oh, it takes a couple weeks.
I woke up, same thing. It was like huge, and I don't remember banging it. I don't remember doing anything. It just was just massive, and I have no idea how it happened. And my doctor wanted to wait a couple weeks to see if it would go down because he didn't want to drain it, and I of course didn't want to drain it. So that's crazy that happened.
I don't know how.
You just noticed it?
No, I've had it for like a week, small, little bit, and now
And
it
then it
finally
blew up?
It just blew up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like yesterday, I was weightlifting. I don't know if that irritated it. You know what I'm saying?
Were you benching?
Yeah, I was doing some benching. I was doing, but I don't know. But I didn't feel any pain in my elbow. I don't have any pain.
Yeah, it's not painful. It's benign. Like you don't feel pain. It's just swollen.
It's just swollen. So I don't
crazy.
know. So like I don't know if I need to stop working out.
No, just if you ice it, it'll be fine. If you ice it, it should go away.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do.
It should go away.
What it was. I'm like looking up I'm like, should I go to my orthopedic? I don't know.
No, it's almost like your bursa sac, but it's on the other side. It's just a pain in the ass. I've had it several times, and it'll go away. I have no idea exactly what it's called or what causes it, but it'll go away. It's just fluid buildup, and I don't think you'll have to get it trained.
Don't you love our like and subscribe and thing in it below, like our production value?
You have to, man. You have to. That's how it works. That's how it works. I was talking. I did a show last night with Sam Dorville. He was a fullback for UConn right after myself. Okay. He had to stop playing because he had spinal stenosis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he got really big into construction and real estate, and that's what he's doing now.
Okay.
And he's launching a podcast, and I was trying to explain to him, like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like it's very, very difficult when you start to build an audience. And he's like, no, he's like, I'm gonna be all over social media. I'm gonna do digital marketing. I'm gonna do this and that. I'm like, you can do all the stuff that you want, but if you don't have that following, it's going to take like a year to build it up to where it's productive for you.
Right.
So that's why I had suggested, I said, I work with Dave Schumann, and his channel has 1 million subscribers. I said, I would love to put you in contact with him. If you would be willing to pay some money. I know it doesn't really fit his channel, but he may consider putting you on it for something different. So I was trying to market you that way because I always think of you. So
thank you for thinking of me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all you need is another podcast that you have to load up on on the YouTube channel. That's the last thing you need. But yeah,
it all brings viewership, so like I know
it does.
I know from like I was starting the other one. I did that experiment and it was growing really fast. I can honestly tell you I got bored with doing it. So I got bored.
What are you, ADD?
So I got bored with it because you know when you're uploading, right? It's just easier. Like it's easier for me to take all your content, my content, any other content, and put it into one channel versus
Yes.
switching between the channels and then doing it and making sure I have. So it's like, I get it that people upload other channels. If someone wants to jump in as a co-host on my TikTok, she's gone now. I would have let her jump in and ask a question.
Yeah. I would see. The only way I would have done it is I would have tried different content on there. I would have tried different shows instead of trying to put both on the same YouTube channel.
Yeah. That's what I think I went to.
If you wanted to experiment that way.
I did experiment with like success-based content, which took off.
Right.
I didn't want to like I abandoned it basically this last week, and the views went like it was going like this, and the views just went.
Well, it's too much work. I mean, I know you have one assistant, but for the work that you put into it and the amount of content that you're recording to post it, it's, I mean, a ton of work. It's a lot of work to post all those shows on all the different platforms.
And it's you're trying to build it up to get it monetized, and you really mentally have to now focus on another thing. So you take away from your main thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And you're focusing on that. Yes.
You're better off just taking whatever content I was going to put on there and putting it on here as its own playlist, like I do with everything else, right? Just make it its own playlist, make everyone come here as the hub, which they're already doing anyway. Yeah. They're already doing it anyway. So,
I mean, it's grown exponentially since you hit 1 million. I mean, to get 1.06, and I mean, it's less than a month, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's really good. So I think that this is becoming the platform that people go to. And then obviously the social media obviously helps tremendously. But this is where, I mean, I know so many people love to come and watch the content.
Well, after the season, we'll have on. It's just we haven't been able to get it arranged between our schedules and the game, but we'll have on Lou Hansen, tight end.
Yes. I can't wait for that.
So we'll have. I'm going to try and get him on Monday. He wanted to come on last night, but last night was difficult to get it all worked out. And then obviously, I don't want to take away.
Yeah, let him do the game.
Play for the game, exactly.
That'll be perfect to do a recap of the game because it's going to be a very interesting game. I did a show last night with Chris Bellamy, and Chris Bellamy went to practice yesterday, and Skylar Bell was there.
Well, he's playing.
Yeah, he's playing, and they're working it out, and hopefully Mike is able to keep him. They're very confident they're going to be able to keep him. So I'll try not to. I won't say anything bad about him. The other one's gone, but Skylar I think is going to stay.
Is anybody else gone that we don't know about, that I didn't know about from before, or?
I don't think so. That they're officially gone. It's just a matter. The NCAA makes it very difficult with the timing of the portal because I understand it, but when you're affecting bowl games and you're affecting teams' ability to play in these bowl games, I think that they should try to make it January 1st and after instead of December, because there's a lot of games in December that are played, and the kids that enter, if they don't find a home and have to come back, that makes things awkward. I think that they should do it one time. It should be in January. When they have it in the spring, that's the one that causes chaos because it's tough to fill those roster spots in the spring, and you can't fill them with freshmen. It's tough to bring freshmen in that late because almost everyone's committed. So that's what the NCAA, I had heard they were limiting the transfers to 2 schools, and they were going to cut down the portal to 1 period. So whether that passes or happens or not, I don't know. But that's critical for a school like us, like UConn, because I mean we need the portal kind of later so we can have the players we need in these bowl games, because it's huge for us if we win this bowl game. If we go and we beat an ACC team that was very good, it was supposed to be very good. They fell off down the stretch, obviously, but a win against an ACC team, 9-4, would be the best record since '98. I mean, that means something. That's important. So that's why I really think they have to get a handle on the portal. The NIL thing is a whole separate deal, and that's what has to get sorted out. And I know that they're doing the C Club event at the House of Blues tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., 8 to 10:30. It's $50 a person to register, and it's going to be a tailgate. I don't know what's going to be provided or whatnot, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I was asked to put something together tonight so everyone can see each other. And from what I know, the majority of people going are going to come tonight. You're going to come tonight.
Okay.
So depending on how that goes, I mean, I got us a private area, food, drinks, and it can go as long as people want it to. So I don't know if people are going to say, oh, we need to leave by 10 o'clock so we can get up and go to this thing at 8 a.m, or if they're going to want to stay out all night. The 11 o'clock game thing is just ridiculous. I don't know why they had to do it that way. I don't know what other games are being played on the 28th to why they scheduled it like that. But we're in a bowl game. We're playing an ACC school. I believe Joe Figiano is going to be starting. We're going to have Cam, Mel Brown, Skylar Bell, TJ Sheffield will be playing receivers. Gavings will be at the receiver position. And then defensively, obviously, we'll have McDonald and Jelani Stafford. We'll have those guys available. So I obviously it's going to mean more to us than North Carolina. Right. So I'm hoping that it shows through. But matchup wise, I mean, it's a good matchup. It just depends really on the weather and our ability to throw the ball with Joe. If Joe gets hot early, I think they need to give him some easy completions early. Run a couple nakeds, run some play action, run some screens, get him confidence early on, and then that'll set the tone. And we got to start fast. That's the biggest thing with us all year. We don't start fast. We fall behind, and then we play catch up. And then we're a second half team, and we turn it on, and we usually come back. That's just been how it's been. So it's going to be interesting to see the game plan. It's going to be interesting to see what Bill Belichick's going to be doing. I don't know where he is.
Is he going to be at the game?
I think from what I've heard, he's going to be at the game. I don't believe he's coaching. I think, their staff is finishing up, but he will be there. Yes. And obviously evaluating, and, trying to finish up his recruiting class. And obviously he's looking through the transfer portal as well. So
we might be watching some of our players.
hey, listen, that's what we talked about. Like, I don't want us to become a feeder school to the big programs. You know, if we end up 9-4, the men's and women's basketball team take care of itself and win the Big East. I think that's got to be a shot in the arm for us to get into a bigger conference.
Well, I think that's the big thing with this stage. I wonder what the weather's going to be this weekend. Weather in Fenway.
I thought it was supposed to be in the 40s.
That's nice if it is. That's really nice.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow's going to be 20% chance of participation. That's not a big deal.
Correct.
40 degrees, which is good.
Correct. Very good.
Wind 5 miles. That's actually not bad.
Oh, that's perfect. That's
it
perfect.
does, but why does it say rain and snow though?
Because I know there's a chance of it. There's a slight chance of rain and snow, but realistically, of it happening, I don't see it coming. From everyone I've talked to, my cousin is out there. That's who I'm going to see, and Laban Marsh is picking me up.
Okay.
And driving me there, so that'll be a fun ride for sure. Yeah. Laban is a pure entertainment. He's pure entertainment. Well, he is so smart that you never know what you're going to get out of him. Like he could, like he was talking about Einstein's theory of relativity 1 minute, and the next minute he's talking about concussions and CTE, and then the next he's on to real estate. So he's ADD up the ass. He's all over the place.
I watched. This is not. It has nothing to do with UConn UNC, but I watched this series called on Churchill on Netflix.
Oh,
have you seen it?
No, I heard of it. I heard of it. I didn't watch it yet. No.
It is. Some of the episodes are a little, could put you to sleep a little bit, but Churchill was amazing human being, dude.
I mean, yeah, he was the leader and a half.
Just tough, just single-handedly fought off the Nazis for a long time before the United States got involved. Like, there was really nobody fighting off the Nazis. They were the only ones.
No, it was it.
And then eventually Hitler made the mistake of attacking Russia. Which was actually his ally at the time. And so it's interesting, but that was his kind of ally. He attacks Russia, and that brought Russia into the war. Then Japan attacks America at Pearl Harbor, which brought America in the war.
Are you a history buff, Dave?
Oh yeah,
you're a history buff. Okay,
major history buff. I love history. I love
history too.
I love the thought process. I like to try to get inside the head of what one of these leaders were thinking at the time, and I find it interesting when like a documentary does that, where they're talking about what they were thinking about, and so most of it is shared letters and speeches from Winston Churchill. And they're going through his speeches, and they're covering the time period, and they're covering the letters he sent. But very, very, very interesting the way he thinks about things. And what's crazy is but at the end of the war, right before like the election, at the end of the war, he actually loses the prime minister job, and then because people want think he's too hard during a peacetime, but then he comes back in, and years later becomes the prime minister again. I mean, it's pretty crazy how the career this guy had. But but he predicted successfully, like he predicted, all the things that were going to happen basically when Britain having to fight back, like how Hitler was going to try and take over the world. And then he accurately, obviously, predicted that Russia would become the next superpower and would be the biggest threat to.
Oh, he did.
Yes, he had a speech about it.
Wow.
While we were still allies with
Russia.
At the end of the war, he has a speech about how there's an iron curtain that's fallen over Eastern Europe, and it's Russia that was pushing through. So people were like, but he was very starchly anti-communist. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And obviously he was part of the Conservative Party during, that's quote unquote England's Conservative Party was what he was part of. But he's interesting. He's kind of like, I mean, he's kind of, Donald Trump and him have a lot in common. They're
really,
yeah. I mean, now the difference is Churchill was a war veteran himself. Like he was in the Navy, he wasn't
right.
Donald Trump is not. But as far as not compromising his principles on things, he was big on that, and he wasn't afraid to fight back. But anyway, that's not here or there. On the UConn preview.
Okay. Well, we're 2.5 point underdogs.
Okay.
2.5 to 3 point underdogs.
Yep. And the over-under is 52.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And
because
52.5 is the over-under.
Both teams, I believe, have been scoring 30 points a game, which is also interesting.
Right.
They match up pretty well. Their quarterback has been kind of all over the place all year. I mean, he had 16 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. And I believe that Jolton Joe had 18 touchdowns to only, was it 3 interceptions? Yeah, he had 18 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And that's he played in 9 games, so Evers played in 8 games. He had 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 54% completion percentage. But see, the thing is, he attempted 179 passes. Figiano attempted 183 passes. So they're nearly identical, but statistically, now obviously Merrimack, Buffalo, and FAU help Joe's numbers because those are he threw the 6 touchdowns and tied or broke Orlovsky's record for in-game. Evers played against Duke. I think he played against Wake, so he had a much tougher go. So that was tough for him. But the question is, I don't believe he's entered the portal. My hope is they, like you said, if it's Shane Stafford, whatever, they get him a quarterback coach, because that's what all these top quarterbacks do now. They hire their own private quarterback coaches that work with them in the offseason. And I think if he gets that and gets that work, he can develop, because he's got 2 more years. He's got 2 more years. So he's a guy that if he figures it out and, he can become a dual threat, a true dual threat quarterback where, he runs just a little bit better. And his passing is on point where he's comfortable in the pocket, and knows his progressions, knows his reads. He, especially if they keep Skylar Bell, that's going to be huge. Gathings is a good player, is a receiver. I think their tight ends are underutilized. Hanson's a very good tight end. He had 22 catches on the year. He could have had more. Gathings is a junior. He'll be back. So there's a lot there's a lot there. There's a lot to be excited about.
So here's what I want you to know. I don't know if you do know this, but UNC has a former UConn alum's son that plays for them. Another one. So remember I've told you that. So Chris Atkinson, who's from Jersey, Chris Atkinson might have been gone before you got there. He's probably a year or two after me. Chris Atkinson's son is Bo Atkinson, and Bo Atkinson is a defensive end for UNC.
That's obviously what we're missing. I think I sent you film on that wide receiver. There's a wide receiver in Arizona, Jamal Lundy, who I played with, coaches him.
Yeah.
And he's the 6'4" kid. He was the Arizona State Player of the Year. We've been trying to keep the Pac Big 12 schools away from him, and he wants to go to UConn. So I'm trying like hell to get Burton to get more to look at the kid, because if we can get an offer into him now and be first. I think that'll resonate with him and make a difference because, I talked to him on the phone. Like, he wants UConn. He wants UConn more than anything.
Well,
so
you see, like, Bo Atkinson's stats on the year, 29 tackles, 6 sacks.
Jesus. What year is he?
He is let me see what Bo's year. Bo is a sophomore. Are you ready for his size?
If you tell me he's 6'6" or something, I'm going to throw up.
He's 6'6", 260.
Oh, my God. Did we call him?
Well, I know Chris. So all right, here we go. Here's the history. And this is why it's so bad that we don't know this with coaching staffs. So Atkinson, I played with me. He was
right.
He was a I think he was a linebacker, DN. I think he was. So he married a girl from UConn who was on the volleyball team.
That's what it was. Okay.
Married a girl from UConn who's on the volleyball team, and they live in North Carolina, and their kid goes to UNC. But just think about that: 2 UConn alums are married together. And their kid doesn't even sniff UConn, right?
Well, that's what bothers me. And even
I'm sure he had UConn as an offer. I'm sure he did. Because
even Rob Long's kid, the quarterback, Champ. I wish that we had pursued him a little bit harder. And I understand putting your eggs in the Nick Evers basket, but it really did not work out how they anticipated with Evers. And that's been the major issue the whole time. He didn't perform up to par, whether it was, spring workouts, summer workouts, not being there, not doing enough. I just, the expectations coming in were very high for him. And maybe it was that first game. Maybe it was just the Maryland game. And from there, it just went downhill. But to play in 8 college football games, he got injured 3 times. And to throw 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. I mean, that's like $10,000 you're paying per touchdown pass.
Right.
That's just like, it blows my mind. So I don't know, is it a situation where you go into the portal and try to find someone and bring in an FCS guy? I don't know how confident they are in the backups that they have, the freshmen that they brought in to give Evers competition, but he needs to be pushed. He needs competition.
Right.
So whether they go, maybe it's the freshman from Virginia that's coming in. Maybe he can do it. But that is what is holding them back from obviously being a great 9-10 win team. If they were more functional passing with their passing attack, that I think they could have beaten Duke. I think they could have beaten Wake. Temple, we got lucky. But UMass was a barn burner and it shouldn't have been. But when you have a lack of a passing game, it just kills you. It just kills you.
Well, I think we'll be able to pass. I think we'll be able to run. I mean, UNC.
I do too.
I think Pagano will do good. This is his last game period. Like, he's not going to the pros.
Nope.
So this will be his last game period, which will be great. And so I think he'll play well. I think
and God bless him. I mean, he was put in very, very difficult situations all year long. And, he may have had his struggles in certain games. But overall, just if you look at it statistically, he was very productive. Right. To have 18 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, that's a great ratio. And in only 9 games, if he had started all 12 games, maybe he's 22 touchdown passes. Who knows?
Right.
But the thing that worries me is North Carolina. They get after the quarterback. They have 3 guys who have 6.5 sacks each. So that is somewhat scary. And we're in the top 10 for offensive line as far as sacks given up. We've given up, like, I think we're 5th in the sacks that we've given up all year. So that's a good matchup for us. We're pretty good in pass protection. And a lot of it has been, when guys hold the ball too long. It hasn't necessarily been guys coming scot-free. And as much as I've harassed the offensive coordinator, he seems to be a good offensive line coach. Although I don't like outside zone.
You hate outside zone.
I don't hate outside zone. I don't hate outside zone. I hate outside zone as your base run play. Like, you get coaches to come on and do clinics. I want to do a clinic. I want to do a clinic on how to have an effective run game out of the spread, and what you need to do. That's what I would do. And I don't think you can base it off of outside zone, especially out of the gun. It's very, very challenging to do that. Well, you're asking a lot from your running backs, because you every time they run it from the same personnel grouping. It's usually 20 personnel, and they run it to the boundary, to the short side, where they think they have the best matchup. But it's tough for the offensive line because they can't give up penetration and they don't pull anyone. I was a big pin and pull guy. I like to block down and pull. I would like to block down on the nose, and I pull the center. I was always pulling people to get guys through. I think that's very important.
The only negative on pin and pull is, like, in the NFL, like, these guys run right through. They could see that you're pulling, and they
yeah, absolutely, yeah. If you have a defense that does a ton of movement, slants, and angles, then you can't pull. You have to full zone everything. And I got to the point where I started doing that. because we were getting so much movement. You know, you like to have inside zone or outside zone, you like to have combo blocks.
Right.
You combo to the second level. But when you have teams that slant and angle, you have to, as I say, elephants on parade. Take your zone step, block what comes to you.
Right.
And just drive it on the angle. And that's what I would try to do. But ideally, like, you know, when I played for Norris Wilson, we would always fold the backside of zone. We would fold it, which I used to like doing.
Forward.
Where the guard would block back, the tackle would come around and get the backside of zone. That's how we'd handle the backside of zone. I like doing it that way. But you can only do it against teams that, you know, don't move a lot. But, you know, North Carolina, they really get after you with the pass rush. They have a great running back who had 1,600 yards rushing, and Hampton with 15 touchdowns. So, but I think that plays into our strength because we definitely stop the run more so than the pass. You know, we held Syracuse, who had a pretty good run game. We held them down pretty good. So I think if we slow down the run game, I think if we get an early lead and start fast and make Criswell, their quarterback, have to throw, then you know, that's where they're going to have issues. Because, you know, he's completing 58% of his passes. He's thrown 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So he's not lighting it up. They do have, I mean, receivers wise, they're very similar to us. Their top receiver is their running back. He has 38 catches, and that's Hampton. So, I mean, they're true wide receivers. The top guy has 34 catches. So they struggle throwing the ball. So that's why I think, obviously, if we can get up on them where you make the game one-dimensional, you make it where they have to throw the ball. I think the weather plays a factor. No team from the South likes to come up and play in the cold, and it makes a difference. And we've seen it in the playoff games. Penn State, SMU, I mean, it was a rout. Ohio
advantage. The home field advantage becomes a
that
big
too. Thing. Yes, that too. Absolutely, I can't leave that out. Ohio State, Tennessee. Ohio State routed Tennessee.
And other than Belichick, might be bringing in some 20-year-old girls for the guys.
Yes. Well, you got to. Yeah. I mean, that's what Rick Pitino did. Rick Pitino allegedly did in his days at Louisville. That's how. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why he got fired. Yeah, and he claimed he had no knowledge, and he actually sued, and I think he won. Like, he was like exempt. But if you're a college football coach and you don't know that that's going on, I think that's worse.
Oh, yes. That could be worse. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a worse look.
What do you have prediction-wise for this game? Well, I know it's a win for UConn, but what's the prediction?
I'm gonna go. We're gonna get hot. I'm gonna go. We're ready. Bellamy said they had a good practice. He said they got a good game plan put together. I'm gonna go 35-21 or 35-24 in that range.
35-24, huh?
Yeah, 35-24.
I think that's pretty accurate. I'm going to go 31-28. I think they cover barely.
Yeah. I think we're going to travel well. We'll have a good contingent of fans, which is what we need. I think it means something. It means a lot more to us than it does to UNC. They're 6-6. They limped into this bowl game. We have, that's all we talked about all year. We're going bowling. We're going bowling. We're going bowling. So I think Coach Mora has the kids fired up. I think you're going to get their best effort. I think that it's going to be a statement game for us. Like, this is a chance for us to make a statement on a national stage at a bowl game and really show that we belong in a conference.
Tell me about the pregame festivities tonight for alumni.
So we're at Cask and Flagon, which I've never heard of. My cousin was a party promoter in Boston, so he knows everyone and everything. He set it up. We have a private room. It starts at 8:00. Everyone's welcome. Private area, eat, drink. It's for us to really celebrate getting together, because we haven't had a chance to see each other for a long time, a lot of these guys. And I think it's a great opportunity to, we have to come to Jesus on where we're going, whether it's Bleeding Blue, whether it's the C Club, whether it's the UConn Foundation. We have to come together and figure out a plan to fundraise so we can keep up with the Joneses. That's my biggest concern. And I don't care how it's done, but the problem is, like what Phil said, with the silos and trying to navigate them. And I think everyone has to get on the same page. We can do that and determine where the money's going to go, how it's going to be used, then we're going to make progress. And then we have a time. We're against the clock, and people don't understand the sense of urgency. We have a year to 2 years to get into a Power Four conference. Otherwise, I mean, if we go to the frickin' Conference USA or Sun Belt, we're better off going to FCS and join the Colonial. I mean,
right.
That's what's disappointing. We got to get people excited about UConn football again. And I think a 9-4 season, even though we didn't play the toughest schedule, we played teams that we were competitive with. We didn't play the Michigans, the Clemsons, the Tennessees. And I think that helped us, because when you're going week in and week out and just getting destroyed, that kills your fan base. And yeah, we played Georgia State. Yeah, we played UAB. Yeah, we played Buffalo. Yeah, we played Merrimack. But you know what? Competitively, that's where we are. I mean, that's exactly where we are. We didn't, it would have been nice to have gotten a win that we weren't supposed to.
Right.
We won every game we were supposed to win. And I know you and I had talked before the season that the over-under should be 6 wins. And we probably could be 8. And if we pulled an upset against a Duke, Wake, or Syracuse, could have been 9. So it's just disappointing. The Maryland game obviously was a disaster. But when you have that many new guys coming together, you have to expect the growing pains. But I think that I think that this is going to be a culmination of the work Coach Mora has done. He won the Boston Gridiron Coach of the Year award, which is well deserved. He's done more with less. Mike Burton and Bleeding Blue, I give him all the credit in the world. He always answers the call. And
Right.
he always answers the call. He does not want to see this program die. And I hate him because he got me invested again, to the point where, I don't want to see it die either. I want to see us back to where we belong. From 2002 to 2010, we were a very good football team.
There's no doubt.
And we had a reputation. And, tough defense. We ran the ball. We were physical. Nobody wanted to come play at the Rent. And I think that if we can get back to that, then we have a chance to do some great things. But we're going to know within a year or two. And I just hope that we have strength in numbers. We have 20,000 people that go to this school. We can get 20,000 alums to donate some money. Then I think we have a chance. And then getting into a conference and having the television revenue, that'll make the difference.
So UConn added in the transfer portal 4 players.
Oh, good.
Sammy Anderson Jr., running back, MJ Flowers, defensive lineman, Trent Jones. Defensive back Sammy Anderson Jr., running back MJ Flowers, defensive back Trent Jones, and linebacker Terry Kirksey. 2 come from FCS. Anderson,
good.
DB, Flowers from Eastern Illinois. 2 others arrived from FBS. Jones from Iowa State. That's the defensive lineman. And Kirksey linebacker from K-State. So
that's good.
So running back from Eastern Illinois. Let's see what he did last year.
And we still have the kid that played last year that didn't get a lot of carries this year.
Yes. That's right. So he's still
Victor Rosa will be back.
Okay.
But I mean, Cam Edwards and Mel Brown are enough to win football games. That's your running attack. And if the guy from Eastern Illinois can contribute, absolutely throw him in there. But in football, whether it's college or the NFL, you need a quarterback. So that's
right. That we haven't gotten yet.
I don't think we've had a quarterback since Dan Orlovsky left. I really don't. I mean,
Cristiano's done a good job, but
he's done. He's played to his ability. Like I don't believe that he's played down. I think he's played the best that he's possibly capable of playing. Like I think you've gotten the most out of him. That's what I can say. I mean, he's limited with what he can do, but I think we've gotten the most out of him.
I agree.
And that's what's most important. And Skylar Bell with 47 catches, Sheffield with 49. I just wish Sheffield had a little more yards per catch. But with Skylar Bell, Gathings returning, Hansen, and I think they have enough to really make a difference. And this year was the launching pad. This year proved that UConn football can be successful.
And we got to build on it. We got to
build on it, and I think we will. And I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited to see everyone. It's been a while since we've been excited about a bowl game, and I think that the kids are going to play out of their minds. They're going to be excited. It's not going to be like you see in a lot of the down bowl games where guys just, opt out or don't show up. I think our guys understand that they worked hard and earned this opportunity.
Agreed.
And they're not going to blow it. So
absolutely. Well, on that note, another great podcast.
I know.
You got to get going.
Yeah, I'm Laban's picking me up, and I'll take some pictures and I'll text you from the stadium.
That sounds good to me, man.
If you change your mind and want to make the drive up, you're more than welcome to. $50 at the C Club event at the House of Blues. Don't remember that. I'll see you there at 8 a.m.
$50 bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. You can't beat it.
8 a.m. at the House of Blues. It's going to be packed.
Well, maybe they get like some of these other people.
Make sure you get there early.
Oh man, I'm sure they have plenty of tickets available for that.
Well, I'm hoping I'll get to talk with Phil and Kevin tonight, so we'll figure out what we're going to do with them, because I think that this will at least show that they need to make some changes.
Yep, you got it. All right.
So, for another stellar Husky Huddle, and I will be on my way to Fenway Park in Boston for the UConn, North Carolina Wasabi Bowl. I didn't even know Wasabi had a bowl, but they do.
Wasabi.
So, yeah, Wasabi. Again, Cask and Flagon tonight, 8 o'clock. Everyone is welcome, free of charge. We have a private area, food and drink. Would love to see you, and everyone can make fun of me. So remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them back at life.
All right, my man.